It's like Zach will sit all the way back there.
I know.
Shabbat Shalom for everyone who's just tuning in online. We're waiting for the clock to officially hit 5:30 and we will get started, but I know we are officially live, which is exciting. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Turn off my mic. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We're going to get started and we'll begin. It's nice to see some people in the sanctuary. I was concerned I'd be all by myself, so it's nice. I hope to hear your voices. And we're going to begin on page 10 with Hine Matov, page 10. Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, hine matov. Yadarai, yadadadadadadadai. Hine matov, hine matov. Yadarai, yadadadadadadai. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. So I was in the middle of welcoming everyone who's here in person. I also want to say hello, welcome to everyone who is joining us online this wonderful, wonderful December night. There are many people here for many different reasons, and our hearts go out to those who might be here to observe a yard site or to remember someone who's recently passed. We will mark those names at the end of our service. But for now, I love that we are all here together to lift each other up. And if you are able to, when the time comes, I invite you to rise. If rising physically is difficult, I ask that you rise in spirit. We know that everyone has differing abilities, so I might say rise as you are able, and that means rise in spirit or physically as you most prefer and are comfortable doing so. And I just want to check, we are still live, so good. So we continue with the candle blessing, and that can be found on page 2. So page 2 of our books. And if you do not know who I am Cantor Elizabeth Flynn, in the cantor here at Congregation Beth Emet. Rabbi Yair Robinson is currently out of town. He is taking a well-deserved vacation. He will be with you next week, and I will be out of town. And we feel very grateful to have the support of each other to allow us to rejuvenate as we also need. So, page 2, candle blessings. We rise and face, as we are able, and face the Shabbos lights. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu להדליק נר של Shabbat. You may be seated. We continuing with the welcoming of Shabbat with the singing of Psalm 96, Shiru Ladonai, and you can find this on page 13. Yes. Shiru Ladonai shir chadash, Shiru Ladonai kol haaretz, Shiru Ladonai baruch hu shemo, basru miyom liyom Yeshuato. Let's try it again. Shiru Ladonai shir chadash, Shiru Ladonai kol haaretz, Shiru Ladonai baruch hu shemo, basru miyom liyom Yeshuato. Zapru vagoyim kevodo, bechol ha'amim niflotav, ki gadol Adonai umecholal me'od, norahu al kol Elohim, ki kol Elohei ha'amim elilim, v'Adonai shamayim asah. Hod v'chadar lefanav, oz v'tiferet b'mikdasho, Shiru Ladonai shir chadash, Shiru Ladonai kol haaretz, Shiru Ladonai baruch hu shemo, basru miyom liyom Yeshuato. We turn to the words of the Chadodi, which can be found on page 20 and 21. We will be doing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9, and customarily, before we reach the final verse, we rise and face the entrance. Once again, you rise as you are able. If you're just able to turn your body to face the entrance, that is us symbolically welcoming the Shabbat bride. So we join together, Lechadodi, once again, page 20. Lechadodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela, Lechadodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamua v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad, L'shem ultiferet v'litila, Lechadodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela, Lechadodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki mekor haberacha, Merosh mikadam nesucha, Sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila, Lechadodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela, Lechadodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri toreri, kiva orech kumi ori, uri shidaberi, kevod Adonai alayich nigla, lechadadi, ligrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela, lechadadi, likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela, bo'i v'shalom ateret bala, Gam b'simcha ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, באי חלה, לחדדי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Lechadodi, likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. You may be seated. We take this moment. In a traditional synagogue, those who are mourning actually stay outside of the sanctuary until after Lechadodi, as they should not feel burdened with the joy if they are not feeling joy. So we take this moment to acknowledge all of those who may be mourning in our congregation. So our condolences, of course, go out to both Beryl and Bob Gamil on the death of Beryl's mother, and to Alicia and Bruce Shaver on the death of Alicia's grandmother, Mira Sachs. And of course, our condolences also go out to Susan and Danny Krestuhl and the whole Krestuhl family on the death of Susan's mother, Evelyn Corman. And our hearts, we hold you all in our hearts, and I hope that we can come together as a community to strengthen and lift you up. And with that, we take a meditative moment to get into a prayerful state of mind with the Chatzi Kaddish on page 26. Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah Be'alma divrach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei B'chayechon u'v'yomeichon U'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael Bagala U'vizman kariv v'meru Amen Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevarach Le'alam ul'al me'almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yinaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitaleh Shemei Dekudesha Brichu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Da'amiran be'alma v'meru Amen. We rise and face the ark for the Baruch Hu. Page 28. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, 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 yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai lai. We read together the Ma'ariv Aravim on page 30. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim b'chochma poteach sha'arim ובתבונה משנה עתים, ומחליף את הזמנים, ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה, גולל אור מפני חושך, וחושך מפני אור. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה. אדוני צבאות שמו. El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai HaMa'ariv Aravim. We continue on page 33. We read responsively on the bottom. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be the holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod, Shem Kavod, Malchuto Leolam, Leolam Va'ed. You may be seated. We continue with the chanting of the Ve'ahavta, found on page 36. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu ha'dvarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'beitecha u'b'lechtecha v'derech u'b'shochbecha u'b'kumecha Ukshartan leot al yadecha, vehayu letotafot beinenecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha, liman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'hitem kedoshim leloechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, Emet. The words of the Mi Chamocha tonight are especially poignant as we also read and begin tomorrow morning the chanting from the book of Exodus, the reading of the book of Shemot, the beginning of the whole story that we recite every day with the Michamocha, the parting of the Red Seas. We stand on the precipice of another moment where we feel trapped, where we feel enslaved, where this pandemic leaning over our head is like a constant shadow. So as we sing these words of freedom tonight, I ask that we meditate on the small shreds of light we see. It's true that the shadow is darker than it was for the past few months, but we also have a vaccine and we have other ways to help us out of the darkness. So we meditate on these words of Micha Mocha on page 40 and breathe in the air of freedom that is still here if we only remember to turn on the light, because we're not in darkness at all times. Micha Mocha Ba'elim Adonai Micha Mocha Nedar B'Kodesh. Let's try that again. Micha Mocha Ba'elim Adonai Micha Mocha Nedar B'Kodesh. Repeat after me. Nora, Nora, Dilot. Oh say, Fele, Fele, Nora, Nora, Dilot. Oh say, Fele, Malchutecha ra'u v'anecha, Bokei livnei Moshe u'Miriam. Ze Eli anu v'yamru, Ze Eli anu v'yamru, Adonai, Adonai, Yimloch, Yimloch, Leolam, Leolam, Va'ed, Va'ed, Adonai, Yimloch, Leolam, Va'ed, Yairai, 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 V'ne'ema ki Adonai et Yaakov, U'ge'alam yad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. Page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, aborei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Ve'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, lidorotam berit olam. Ve'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, lidorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Bnei Yisrael, Oti le'olam v'shamru Bnei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat Lidorotam berit olam Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai Et hashamayim ve'et haaretz v'shamru Bnei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat Lidorotam berit olam Uvayom hashvi'i shavit v'yinafash Shavit v'yinafash Shavat v'yinafash Shamru Bnei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat Lidorotam berit olam. We rise for the Amidah on page 46. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agiteilatecha Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'Neihem Le'ma'an Shemohu B'Yahava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magein Baruch Atah Adonai Magin Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayei HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem Mechalkel Chaim B'Chesed Mechayei HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim Somech Noflim V'Rofei Cholim U'Matir Asurim U'Mekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha B'Gevurot U'Mido Melach Melech Memid U'Mechayeh U'Matmiach Yeshua V'Ne'eman Atah L'Chayot HaKol Baruch Atah Adonai Mechayei HaKol Atah Kadosh Shimcha Kadosh U'Kadoshim B'chol Yom Yehalelucha Salah Baruch Atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. You may be seated. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. We take this moment before a moment of private prayer, to pray for healing. A prayer more relevant, more poignant than ever these days. We take a moment and we turn to page 253 to pray for those who need healing, no matter what kind, be it spiritual, be it physical, be it mental, be it emotional, be it one of overwork. We say a special prayer and thought for those in our hospitals, overrun, our healthcare workers, for those who are suffering from despair and sadness during this very dark time, and for those who are suffering from illness or other ails we can't see. So for those joining us online, if you wish to share a name, I invite you to do so in the comments below. For those here in person, as my eyes meet yours, I invite you to share any names you might be thinking of, either out loud or to concentrate on saying them in your heart.
Mourner.
I will add to that list a prayer for Owen Werkaiser and for Martin Markowitz. We join together in these words of healing, so beautifully set on page 253. Mi shebeirach avoteinu mekor habracha leimoteinu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi shebeirach imoteinu mekor habracha leavoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We take a moment for the prayers of our hearts. Yehiyu leratzon imrefi, imrefi, vegion libi lefanecha. Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri, Vigoali, Vigoali, Yehiyu liratzon imrefi, imrefi, ve'egyon libi lefanecha. Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri, Vigoali, Vigoali. We arise for Aleinu L'Shabeach on page 282. Aleinu L'Shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'tet gedula liyotzeh Breshit, shelo asanu kegoyei aratzot, v'lo samanu kimishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu kore'im, umishtachavim, umodim, lifnei melech, malchei hamachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It continues on page 287. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu, bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo 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 echad. You may be seated. I'm going to read one of my favorite meditations. If you wish to follow along, the words are on page 288. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved. And if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love does not die, people do. So, when all that's left of me is love, give me away. The words of the Mourner's Kaddish are found on page 294. Before we recite them, I want to invite anyone who is here observing an immediate death, who is in the first 7 days, or has lost someone recently and has not yet buried them, to please rise so we may recognize you. So if you are in the first 7 days of mourning or in an immediate passing. For those who are in the first 30 days of mourning, I ask that you rise. Of course, for anyone online as well. For anyone in their first year of mourning. And for anyone observing a yard site. For all those who are left, I ask that you rise as is your custom. And we join together in the words of the Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah ve'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam ul'amei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei d'kudashah b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata ta'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba amin shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav Huya aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. As a community, in a minute, I will read our communal list of those we are remembering. And I would like to invite, before I do this, anyone in the room to share any names they are remembering as well, if they wish to share. And those online, if you wish to share a name in the comments, I invite you to do so. This week, we remember those we've lost in our community. Anita Hershen, Ruth Bean, and Mira Sachs, all in recent days. Joel Edward Antonoff, Nellie Bernhardt, Lena Brand, Rebecca Braustein, Rebecca Coopersmith, Leon Fells, James Norden Gins, Jack Goldstein, Martha Goldstein, Helen Davis Johnston, Jules Kessler, Marsha Lee, Louis Lieberman, Joseph Melamed, Joseph Ofstro, Ida Kaiser Riebman, Lena Roth, Samuel Savitt, Hortense Sheenberg, Frances Weinstein. And of course, we are also thinking of Evelyn Corman, who passed early today and is not yet laid to rest, but we remember her and lift up her memory. You may be seated. Coming together to lift each other up during these times is one of the most important things we do as a Jewish community. So I am so grateful that all of you chose to come here to be together and to hold each other. Tomorrow morning, just a reminder, we do a brief worship now with Torah study. Torah study will be on Zoom. We've been doing hybrid, but given the vacation and rising numbers, we will be on Zoom at least this week and next week. We are doing a brief service interspersed with Torah study, so there will be a Mourner's Kaddish set if you wish to join by Zoom. That begins at 9:30. I will be leading this week. Rabbi will be leading next week, and he will also be leading Shabbat on Zoom, Shabbat evening services on Zoom, not typical live stream, on Zoom next week. So come celebrate New Year's Eve with all of us and pray together. It'll be a lot of fun. Torah study, we get to explore the book of Exodus. We'll be taking many different explorative routes. I have different places I want to go with our study. So we'll see what tickles everyone's fancy. It'll be really fun. Okay. Closing song will be, stay on 294. We're going to close with Oseh Shalom, that last line of the Mourner's Kaddish. And if there are any other announcements I forgot, forgive me. because I don't have a list. That's what I'm going on for right now. We close with Oseh Shalom. Once again, those words are at the end of the prayer of community we just recited, the prayer praising God for life and peace. Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'yakol Yisrael, ve'akol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'akol Yisrael, ve'akol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru Amen. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'akol Yisrael, ve'akol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much for being here.